Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Peter, early this week it was Champions League action and a lot of drama. So on Tuesday night, City made the trip to Club Brugge and cruised to a 5-1 victory. And then 24 hours later at Old Trafford ended Manchester United 3, Atalanta 2. And to be honest with you, that result's just papering over the cracks.
Well, a lot of people are saying that. It could be argued that it might mean that United kick on now and go and beat Liverpool, for instance. But I'm inclined to think that it was hardly Juventus to beat. It wasn't Atletico Madrid or even Real Madrid. It was an average team from Italy that they beat. And they shouldn't have really be chasing a game like that, even though they did win 3-2. But what sort of United are going to turn out at Old Trafford on Sunday? That's the biggest issue, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at that game. In my opinion, I think Liverpool have got a cruise to victory in that one.
Well, stranger things can happen in a one-off game like that, and United have got the goal-scoring pedigree roared on by a very loyal crowd, I thought, because there was boos at half-time when they were losing 2-0 on Wednesday. But then why they didn't play like that in the first half got me. I mean, the odds now with Betfred for winning the Champions League, United have been cut quite dramatically on the back of that because they did show a lot of courage. And I don't think any team would relish coming to Old Trafford in the Champions League, however big they are. So City are now the outright favourites for the Champions League. They're 7-2 after that hugely morale-boosting 5-1 victory. That was better than we expected. The 7-2 now with Betfred to win the Champions League. Bayern Munich are second favourites, 4-1. PSG 5-1. Liverpool 7-1. They had a great win, Atletico again, and Salah did brilliantly with another goal. Chelsea 8-1. United now 14-1 for the Champions League, and Betfred have Madrid now Real Madrid in now slightly at 20-1. Barcelona drifting out 50-1 for the Champions League.
You mentioned Barcelona. You know, they're at the Nou Camp the other night, and it was barely full. I mean, it was half empty, wasn't it? Sad scenes because you go back a few years ago and it was always booming there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and as I've said before, you do realise now why Barcelona and Real Madrid and some of the Italian giants were desperate to get that European Super League going, because they need the Premier League effectively, and the Premier League, thanks to the fans, are not having it.
Yeah, they're certainly not. So let's just take a look back at United's 3-2 win. It is papering over the cracks, that's my opinion. But what do you think Ollie said at half time? I mean, do you really think he kicks off with his players? I mean, it was completely different to the first half.
Well, you'd imagine he would kick off.
I mean,
but I think the players themselves would take it on board as well, and they're probably kicking off against the colleagues. I mean, if you saw Fernandes, he has enough to say to referees. He wants to concentrate on having something to say to his colleagues. But he did a great pass for that first goal when they were battling back. That was supreme. But you got to think, it's all down to Solskjaer because he's assembled that group of players, and he can't get those players in the same lineup. So that's why Pogba was dropped, for instance, and he didn't. And he's got Sancho to accommodate as well. These are, and then Cavani. When Cavani came on, it showed more intelligence up front, and Ronaldo went wider. But Ronaldo is the key. If he carries on scoring key goals like he did on Wednesday night, United could go higher and higher, and even challenge for maybe the title. But at the moment, they are off the pace. They are behind City, Liverpool and Chelsea, and it isn't good enough for Manchester United to be behind those two when you think of the money that they're shelling out.
Well, they're not just behind, they're well behind. So we are looking at that fixture on Sunday. It's Manchester United hosting Liverpool. Peter, what are the odds looking like for this one?
Right, well, United are 11-5 with Betfred to get 3 points. Liverpool, not surprisingly, favourites 6-5. Salah to score first is 10-3. I think that's a good price. Ronaldo 7-2 to score first. Remember, he'd probably be taking the penalties. And then Mane 9-2 to score first. Bruno 13-2 to score first. I think he's due a few more goals. He's not quite playing as well as he did last year. But it's a different setup, and he is capable of turning it on again. For the Premier League top goal scorer, Salah's leading the way big time now. He's 2-1 with 7 goals so far to be the league top scorer. Betfred have Lukaku second favourites at 7-2. And Ronaldo, only 3 goals so far in the league, 5-1. Vardy, 7 goals so far in the league, he's 10-1.
Excellent stuff. Well, you just mentioned Lukaku then. He picked up a ankle injury, I think, early this week in the Champions League, so I'm not sure if he'll be playing this weekend. But yeah, like you said then, he's, what is he now, odds-wise for leading goal scorer?
Right, well, he's second favourite at 7-2. He was favourite at the beginning of the season when he first signed.
Well, he'll certainly be a miss if he's not going to play for Chelsea due to that ankle injury. But we'll take a look now at Manchester City's Premier League fixture this weekend because they make the long trip to Brighton and Hove Albion. Peter, what are you looking like for this?
Well, that's an interesting one, and if it wasn't for the United-Liverpool game overshadowing affairs, this would be the best game on paper this weekend in this round of fixtures. Because Brighton are riding high, the fourth. But City more than capable of knocking them off that perch. And Brighton are 5-2. City 2-5 odds on favourites to get all 3 points. Now the difficulty when we sort the odds out for City is getting the first goal scorer because it's all spread around. There isn't a guaranteed likely scorer. It's much more spread amongst those midfielders converting as like a false number 9. But Foden's been doing that job of late and did it remarkably well in Europe this week. But Foden, Jesus, Mahrez and Sterling are all 4-1 to score first. Next up is De Bruyne 9-2 and Grealish 5-1.
Well, they have it. Raheem Sterling 4-1 to score first, but Peter, is he on his way out?
Well, there's a lot of questions about that. If you ask me hand on heart, I'd say yes, because I don't think he quite fits in with the way of thinking of the manager. He clearly has an issue when he's through on goal. He misses a lot, but then he gets in great opportunities to score, so he's getting in the right positions. But since he come from Liverpool, he hasn't really built on that. He still suffers in front of goal when he's kind of got too much time. When it's an instinct, well, bang it straight in. Yeah. He's got supreme pace, but he's a little one-footed for me. Grealish, Mahrez, Foden are probably ahead of him now. And he might be able to do it for England with that link-up play with Harry Kane, particularly important for the national team. But for City, I think he's more of a squad player now, and he's an expensive squad player. And it could be that it's time for him to make a move, not just for City's sake, but for his own sake, for his own career.
I was going to say, sometimes a fresh challenge can reignite that spark in a player. Where would you see him play, or who would you see him playing for? What kind of club would he suit?
I think he'd probably suit a team like Barcelona. Or even Real Madrid, but I doubt he's going to go to Real Madrid. Barcelona would be the favourite because they need to refresh their team, and he is the sort of player who could do well abroad with that electric pace. He's probably the fastest player in the Premier League today.
Yeah, he is. He's a great player. It would be a shame to see him leave the Etihad Stadium, but who knows where he's going to end up. Well, it's been great speaking to you once again, Peter. And if you do fancy a punt on any of the fixtures this weekend, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online and via their app.